Okay. So when I was 17, I didn't want to go away to college because I was afraid I'd miss my mom too much. And like any good Jewish mother, she was like, fine then. She used a bunch of reverse psychology. So she was like, fine, stay home in Palmdale for forever. We'll be best friends. And to that I was like, no problem, I'll go to college. So my first year in college, she told me that I had to start paying for some of my books and some of my food. And I was a major in sports management, so I needed a lot of useless books. And I'm a big person for honesty, but I needed money. So I applied for a job at the Chanel counter at Nordstrom. And I had never done any makeup before, but I did do pageants. You guys might recognize me as Miss Palmdale 2003. Thank you. It's the first time anyone has ever cheered for that. And so a woman who looked like Lucy Liu from Kill Bill, minus the cool swords, interviewed me. And it was the scariest interview I've ever had in my life because A, I was lying about having any makeup experience, and B, she smiled throughout the entire interview, like with all of her teeth. And then she did something even scarier, and she hired me. So she asked her favorite employee, Michelle, to train me. And like I said, I had pageant experience, but like the makeup I knew how to do was like toddlers and tiaras makeup, and that's not exactly what they were selling. So Michelle trained me every single day for like 3 months. And she made sure to correct me anytime I did something wrong. Like I would stack the eyeshadows wrong, and she was like, that's wrong. I'd greet customers and say hello, and she's like, you didn't do that right. And then she one time critiqued me for not wearing enough makeup, which is apparently a huge offense at the Chanel counter. And for the first few months, I had a lot of trouble making commission because when people would walk up to me and be like, do you think I need this lip gloss? I would respond with, honestly, I don't think anybody needs a $50 lip gloss. And then I'd watch my commission just like walk out the door, knowing that I had set them on the right track, but also knowing that I wasn't making my 7% commission at all. But about on month 3, I kind of got the hang of it. And I was on the sales floor alone, and a woman walked in like ready to buy stuff. So she came to the counter. We tried on every color of foundation on her. She bought 3 lip glosses, all of which I told her she needed. She got a new Chanel No. 5 perfume because she said hers smelled weird. And and then she got all of them like face products. So it took like 2 hours to help her. I helped her by myself, and the wholesale cost $900. And I make 7% commission, which means I would make $63, and I'd be able to finally buy my Principles and Practices of Sports Management book with like leftovers for a turkey, lettuce, pickle, no condiments Subway sandwich. And so I was like, walked home and was very proud of this sale. And the next day, my unarmed Lucy Liu boss came downstairs, and she asked to speak to me. And it was really weird because like all things started turning when she asked to speak to me, because there are phones at the Chanel counter, so the fact that she came down from the 3rd floor was very weird. And so she led me up from the ground floor, and we took the escalators. She turned her back on me, and we rode up 3 escalators in silence. Nordstrom has 2 elevators. I don't know why we didn't take those. There was a staircase, also an option, maybe a quicker option even. But instead, we rode in silence. I rode behind her on these escalators, her not saying a word to me the entire time. We finally got to her office, and she informed me that the sale that I got was not my sale. She said that the sale belonged to Michelle, the woman who trained me, even though she wasn't on the sales floor, because that's her regular customer. And I explained that I had like helped her for 2 hours, and I was the only person on the sales floor, and had just attended a training that said if you give a commission to someone who's not on the sales floor, you can get fired. And she was like, no, you're wrong. This is not your sale. And she ended the talk with, you know, Stevie, we feel like you're not a team player. And so I left her office with a warning and decided to go down the 3 escalators because it would take the longest. And then I really thought about what she said. Not a team player. If anyone knew the definition of team, it was me. I'm majoring in sports management. And I could not figure out how makeup selling was a team sport. So I started going through it, and I was like, okay, the whole team doesn't get commission, one person does. A team has a support group, and everyone likes each other. This team felt like a bunch of enemies. And a team plays by the rules, and this team did not. So I had this moment of being like, I don't want to be a part of this weird team. By the time I got to the bottom floor, I decided it was probably time to quit. So I went back up the 3 escalators, and I quit that day. And when my final check came, the $63 of commission wasn't included. And it wasn't surprising. I kind of was like, oh, of course not. But it was really disappointing. And so my job after that was at a retirement home where I called bingo games for old people. You can't call them old people, though. They really hate that. And it was a really good fit for me because there was never a talk of team. And I helped other people make money. And it was every man for himself. Thank you.